Today's super review is sponsored by Skillshare. The first 1,000 people to use the link in my description will get a free trial of Skillshare Premium membership. Enjoy the video! This is starting to get more and more unique, Dragon Ball Super, and I couldn't be any happier with this. That's right everyone, Dragon Ball Super the manga chapter 69 is here, and nice. And I actually mean that. What Toriyama and Toyotarou are doing here is making Dragon Ball relevant in this day and age, and far less antiquated than it would have been had the likes of Tadayoshi Yamamuro stayed on board and was still an influence for the main timeline. You want proof of what I'm saying? Go and watch Super Dragon Ball Heroes, and you will see exactly what I mean about Dragon Ball potentially becoming something you're sort of tired of and antiquated. The future is granola based. Chapter 69. The Succession of Planet Cereal. Well, I mean, I could tell you the success of Planet Cereal already. And it's sugar. Lots and lots of sugar. Seriously, this isn't me joking, the people who live here now are called Sugarians. With Dragon Ball Super's direction into making a whole new character arc in full swing by now, I felt it was worthwhile telling you about Skillshare and its way of breathing new life into your skill set. With Skillshare, I've been able to learn a lot of new things with its wide range of classes that aren't just in writing and literature, but also in filmmaking, coding, photography, as well as even starting out your own business with the initial drive to become a freelancer or entrepreneur, allowing you to thrive in this working from home environment. This month, I've been wanting to enhance my upcoming audio drama Revelation F, the story of Frieza being a good guy, you should check it out by the way, by watching Sabate's How to Build a Believable Character. Her class has been my port of call to ensure that the character remains true to their roots. Her class is just over half an hour long, and most classes tend to be less than 60 minutes, meaning total accessibility to all schedules. If you'd like to give Skillshare a go, check out my description and pinned comment below for the link where the first 1,000 people who click it will get a free trial of Skillshare Premium membership. Thank you so much for listening everyone, and let me know in the comments what field of expertise you'd like to enhance. Where we last left off, we had Vegeta getting sick and tired of being in the shadow, second fiddle, of Goku, and through some indirect assistance from Beerus, as nicely as the cat can be in this situation, will start to go down his lonely road, the only road he ever known, and he doesn't know where it will go. But I am glad to see that the prince is going in his own direction, and finally us seeing an acquisition of a new power, instead of us hearing about it later from Goku or something, or he just gets it off screen like with Super Saiyan. And with Super Saiyan Blue, he learned it on his own, and we're not gonna show you. With Granolah though, he's done his bit and sold 7-3 for profit to the Heater clan, and now we see him find out that Frieza is alive once more, and has a chance to get his revenge on the Emperor finally. However, he isn't in the best condition for that, and so he vows to get strong, somehow, which gets the sleeping oracle fish all bothered, which is where we carry on today. We begin today's chapter with Granolah's craft heading back to Planet Cereal of all places, and what we see is a now far more technologically advanced environment instead of the more medieval structures we saw in his flashback last chapter. It turns out the reason for this is that these aren't Cerealians here, these are the Sugarians, a type of people clearly not native to this planet, and obviously have to adapt by using domes and are clearly familiar with Granolah too. Probably seeing him as some kind of celebrity perhaps, a relic of the previous civilization that used to live here obviously. Also, Granolah likes the top shelf water. Top shelf, eh? Granolah, you naughty biscuit you. I know what lives up on the top shelf, and nope, Sophie isn't here to tell me no. One thing to glean from this also is that Granolah lives away from these people with an old guy in the middle of a forest who has lived for centuries apparently. Do they now? Ooh. But anyway, our guy doesn't want to live with them as he feels out of place. Why not? These people, the Sugarians, are so nice. I'd want to live with these people. They seem really amiable and generous. Can you imagine the Sugarians and the Yardratians together? They'd be the most amiable and useful community in the galaxy. Who wouldn't want to live with them? But anyway, Granolah tells us that the Heaters were the reason that the Sugarians actually live here in the first place, as they helped rebuild this planet for these newcomers, which is actually kind of interesting. It does go to show that despite them being money-driven pirates and stuff like that, they are willing to do projects that would benefit worlds that were lost to catastrophes and cataclysms, which is a plus for them in my book. yeah, they obviously, they need a bit of sustainability. But it's a way of showing us how good they are instead of us just being told in one line. We get to see what generosity the Heaters can offer, as well as them being effective business people. On top of all this, Granola's view of his old town from his new settlement is there to remind him of his past and what the Saiyans and Frieza did to his planet. Wow, that's powerful for Dragon Ball, I like this. But that is right though, this is Dragon Ball, so we need to spend some time with Vegeta and the Saiyans. Must we? But yeah, we had Beerus and Vegeta having a little chatette about the Saiyans, and it seems to be a genuine inquiry from the cat, a test almost, about whether Vegeta is feeling guilty for all of the sins of the past from Saiyans. He also checks to see whether Vegeta blames Frieza specifically for all of this happening. But Vegeta doesn't. Really? It all culminates though in Vegeta blaming his father of all people, saying that his actions led to their ultimate demise, in that his decisions accelerated their downfall by exacerbating the Saiyans' desire for battle and conquest, Frieza merely supercharging them at the behest of his father. It ultimately doomed them all before it was meant to happen, and therefore, in Vegeta's eyes, King Vegeta III made the ultimate error in judgment in the eyes of his own son. Wow, that's pretty deep. And this was then brought on by Beerus, this question. But then he deems that idea silly and then proceeds to attack Vegeta head-on and take out a nearby decorative planet. Planets here are just like baubles, cats like to play with baubles. The reason for this outburst was that Beerus wanted to impress that so long as Vegeta thinks that his father was to blame, bit of doubt there, therefore all Saiyans were to blame as well, the power he seeks will never be his. Okay, so Vegeta needs to truly rid of himself of any blame or uncertainty. Fair enough. I guess you need to have a total control for Hakai powers, right? But then there's he drops further when Beerus decides to reveal his big secret, something I've been really looking forward to Vegeta, that he was the one responsible for Vegeta's destruction. Okay, that was kind of unexpected and a bit disappointing to have it now. But then this could be helpful in clarifying things for the Prince, and him getting over the whole Saiyan doubt. Beerus chose to get rid of the Saiyans. It wasn't destiny after all, that's what Vegeta thought. It then leads to Vegeta attacking in close quarters with some very impressive choreography here for a few pages. But yeah, it ends up with Beerus drop-kicking Vegeta to the ground and telling him what I just said. Get over yourself! Then he Hakai's a bit of Vegeta's armor to make a point. I guess this is just the Piccolo Gohan school of training amplified times 1,000, huh? You just hear Beerus saying, Dodge! We then cut to the Heaters, and they are seemingly watching 7-3's optical recordings, as it shows Sagambo, you remember that guy? And the rest of the Moro cronies haranguing Zuno for information, and as we know, Heaters really like information, they get off on it. And the biggest piece of information in all these recordings? Turns out it's the existence of the Dragon Balls. They know now, and how the prisoners were released at once because of them. So it seems they don't need to go to Zuno after all, they're now gonna go and find Dragon Balls. This is actually sort of like how Frieza discovered the Dragon Balls in the Namek saga, through recordings, indirectly. Then it gets even more curious. Namekians used to live on planet Cereal. They did! They really did! Sure enough, they did! Granola's roomie is one of them! An old one watching TV! This is big news, people! Chat then talks about work, and then leads to Frieza and the young one's mission to take him out. The old Namekian tells him to forget that idea. But then, of course, the attention turns to a Dragon Ball. Just, chilling on the side shelf there. A 1-star Dragon Ball. Ooh. But the Namekian shuts that down too, stating that the other ball is long lost. Wait, surely he means other balls, right? Has this only got 2 balls? Okay, sorry. I'm very juvenile. The info dump carries on with Mori giving a course on New Namek about the Dragon Balls, conveniently, to young Dragon Clan members. It turns out that the size and number can vary, not just the size as we were previously led to believe. And oh yeah, Namekians didn't come from Namek, they weren't born there, they just came from another realm. Another reality. I knew it! Zalama has indeed something to do with this, but the true origins, lost to time, but we know. Now we know. Now we know! But one thing's for sure, Mori is unaware of any other Namekians outside of them here and Dende on Earth, but we do, because on Cereal, the tribe that once lived here is now down to the one that you see before you. Once he's gone, that's it. He keeps countering Granolah's ideas for wishes, with actually valid reasons, and then suggests to go to bed. But of course, we know that Granolah's going to go and steal it. Yep, he's actually just holding them right there. He does. Especially when news gets out that the other ball, the 2-star one, has been found. Wow, so much for that 40-year loss. He just finds it on TV. He then goes to steal the 2-star ball in secret and summons the dragon using the incantation that Monaito, the Namekian, that's his name, taught him. This dragon looks awesome. Sea dragon-like almost. Definitely different to Porunga and Shenron. Maybe a bit more towards Shenron, but we don't know its name. But I'm sure we'll find out soon enough. Also, whether Granolah's wish to be the greatest warrior in the universe is actually carried out, because we don't find out. That chapter ends with a cliffhanger. All in all, this chapter was probably a very big turning point for Super. As I said at the start of the video, it feels like there is a tonal shift happening here, which allows for more world building to occur, and to have fighting not be the sole factor within Dragon Ball. Back to the good old days. We are doing here now what the first series did so well, and what GT tried to do in that regard, but here, it's being implemented more patiently, and with more thought going into it. It feels like Dragon Ball, but yet not, if you know what I mean. We are seeing Granolah be a lone wolf here, and the heaters actually turn out to be not all that bad. Given what we saw in the last chapter, we could presume that. And they do provide some sort of beneficial service for people, albeit at a price, but hey, they still do it. Then we get to Vegeta and Beerus' conversation, and I'm mostly pleased with it. Yes, okay, I am sort of sad that Beerus decided here and now to reveal that he was responsible for Planet Vegeta's destruction and not Frieza. Okay, now, and all that Vegeta did was just get really mad for a nanosecond before being beaten down again. But hey, I suppose this was a test by the cat to see whether the prince was still being sincere about wanting to get strong and not piggybacking off the Saiyan's revenge or anything like that. He'd moved on. Sort of true. You know, Vegeta's not being weighed down by their legacy anymore. Normally, I'd be mad for there being no explanation, but here, there is actually an explanation for Beerus' actions. And this is yet another reason as to why this story going forward feels so different, and so really good different. There is more justification and lore being added here. And even though Beerus' dialogue is a little clunky at times, especially with that big reveal, which could understand why I'm disappointed, it is a lot more than we would normally get from him, which would be grumbling about having to do stuff and where's the next meal coming from? This is progress for the kitty cat. Okay, then we get to the biggest reveal of all. Namekians getting more attention. Thank you, Toriyama and Toyotaro. With the fact that Namekians lived and still live on other planets, yeah, that makes sense, but to now see this in action within the main timeline is such a revelation, and a welcome one at that. I was a little saddened also, by the way, by 7-3 just being used like a smartphone in this arc, like taking pictures, but having said that, he is a robot, and it would make sense for there to be a record of events being logged for future use. He can remember techniques, so it totally is reasonable for him to have visual and audio recordings to go with it. Planet Serial had Saiyans, and now Namekians are involved in its history. And it makes me chuckle that Dragon Balls were right under Frieza's nose, if you think about it, much earlier than we thought, because Saiyans attacked the planet. They totally missed them. Imagine a what-if where the Emperor actually got those balls sooner. Oh, the cogs are turning here. Are you tired with more Namekian lore? Well, sorry, you're gonna get more. And our video on the subject from the other day couldn't have been more relevant to proceedings. Go and check that out, by the way. The fact that we are getting more intel about Dragon Balls, how they're created, how they can vary in size depending on the person, it makes sense, we've seen it before, but now actually seeing it explained and confirmed is fascinating. It is a little convenient to hear it now, but it's still neat to know all of this, and the fact that Namek wasn't their birth world, that came out of nowhere, and they came from another universe and plane of existence, in fact, it altogether lends to the whole notion that Zalama was indeed the first Namekian, and that from his singular seed spread all Namekians that we know in reality today, which adapted in their own subsequent homes and universes. Wow, this is so cool, especially to those who love Pickle and the like. I bet you out there are really thrilled to hear that this stuff is not Saiyan related. Now, as for the wish that Granolah makes, I don't think you'll get that granted. Remember, limitations can vary depending on the Namekian, and Monaito, the only Namekian left on Serial, doesn't really strike me as a powerful Namekian. Perhaps akin to Kami, nowhere near Guru, so I believe that our Granolah will be thwarted by this dragon for the wish that he wants to get. he'll instead have to come up with another wish or another way to get his strength. Maybe make his next step towards that goal a little easier. He can't wish for Frieza to be off, so maybe he might do something else to hinder Frieza indirectly. Or maybe make himself strong enough to perhaps then move on to the next bit, usurp the heaters perhaps, in turn gain more knowledge perhaps. Remember the whole knowledge is power thing from the last chapter? I think it could be followed up here, with Granolah choosing to actually go down that route. If he does get that wish to become the strongest in the universe, I would be very disappointed, not gonna lie. So what do you folks think of Chapter 69? Do you like Granolah? Do you think that the wish on this brand new dragon will actually be realised? Let me know in the comments, and I shall see you next month for Chapter 70. Until then, folks, catch you later.